Based on what I have heard from credible sources, people directly involved with the projects, and not just idle rumors and tidbits from the internet and speculation articles that go viral and shit like that, which is more often than not the case with a lot of things that people talk about here on YouTube. Things that have actually come from studio executives and directors and people involved with the things they're working on. This is the basic gist of what the X-Men movies are going to be for the next block of time, let's say 5 years. Contracts are already established. Marvel already has a huge plate. Marvel Studios, that is, has a huge plate of movies for it to be making. So Fox is still going to be making its X-Men movies. They're just going to be streamlined with Marvel a little bit more, hopefully leading to some sort of crossover in the future. But they're going to have to be self-contained movie universes, which is fine because that could be Secret Wars one day. But they were already to a point where they're like, we've made 6 X-Men movies already. Dark Phoenix will be either the 6th or 7th. I need to stop in first class. Yeah, this will be the 7th damn movie of just X-Men. They should be marketing it as X7 or some crap like that to kind of call back to X2. Anyway, they're kind of tired of that. They want to let that rest for a while. And the thing that they've been working towards is alternate teams, because there's a lot of other X teams out there that they could be making movies about. And the New Mutants was supposed to be the beginning of that, which naturally could lead into X-Force. Also, through Deadpool having been established, those two could streamline together and become X-Force one day, a proper X-Force. There's also X-Factor and Excalibur and Generation X, although I'm not quite sure that one really is applicable to a non-90s audience. But you get what I'm saying. But they also wanted to do like solo movies. The Gambit movie is, I'm betting that Kevin Feige basically, as soon as he was announced that he's in charge, he went over to their office, looked at their tablet of what they had, and is like, yes, go ahead and make that, go ahead and make that, go ahead and make that. Because all of a sudden, Simon Kinberg is out there talking about how Gambit's going to be a romantic comedy of sorts, in the same way that like Ant-Man is a heist movie, where it's not going to be really a romantic comedy. It's going to have lewd romantic comedy, American Pie type stuff, overtones, embedded in a regular comic book movie. And that's probably a good sign that Maddox, the Multiple Man, starring James Franco of all people, will be made, and that's probably going to end up being like a stoner comedy. Maybe they'll work Seth Rogen into it somehow. They have to. It's contractual obligation with James Franco at this point. I think Seth Rogen is like James Franco's emotional comfort safety dog. You know, like some people are allowed to take their pet on a bus because, you know, like, oh, my feels. We got a lot of that here in Austin. Anyway, there's a Shadowcat movie that they had talked about that I would bet is probably more likely to be made at this point. And so, yeah, solo projects and the other teams. X Factor could be like a way to get the core team back together, but have them be working more directly for the government. I guess as X Factor setup, that could work. Excalibur for the international audience, or I guess the English international audience, the Brexit audience. What I would like to see in terms of solo movies is Idris Elba as Bishop, and actually just do the Bishop story, a Bishop coming back in time, and not muddy it up with Days of Future Past like they did in the X-Men cartoons in the 90s, which was understandable. Is how much time travel stuff do you want to do in one season? And Bishop was a hot character in the comics, so it was wise for them to get him out. And it'd be nice to see Bishop done some justice on the screen and not just like a cameo Easter egg character. in one movie. And I actually think like Idris Elba's the right age and the right kind of guy. He'd pull that role off pretty well. So I don't know. We'll see. Fingers crossed.